I'm going from Nora Head Lighthouse, New South Wales, on the Central Coast, just up here at Caloundra. The old lighthouse is up here, just brought some bits and pieces up.
So, Nora, is it a first order?
First order, yeah.
The light, yeah.
Yeah.
And would it have been in a bed of mercury, so it rotated?
Yeah, it floats on 9.6 litres of mercury, 2 big pedestal bearings, keeps it all nice and solid, and yeah, and just rotates around, just electric. It used to be, of course, the same as the old grandfather clocks or cuckoo clocks, just the weight, 180 kilo weight on a chain, out through a clock mechanism, and as the weight came down the chute, it would just turn every 5 seconds. When it got electrified, now it's 15 seconds, now it's electrified. The 3 lighthouse keepers, they used to do 4-hour shifts, and about every 5-10 minutes they used to give it a mad whine, just to keep the weight as high as they could. If they let the weight come all the way down the chute, it'd run the lighthouse for about 55 minutes, but it'd take about an hour and a half to wind it back up again. So each lighthouse keeper about every 10 minutes would give it a quick mad whine, so the weight would be going up and down all night. Last guy in the morning, he put the wick out, he put the brake on, stop the lens, great big curtain around the lens, keep the sun off it, because it's like a giant magnifying glass, and they thought that they could actually start a bushfire. It probably couldn't, but that was the idea, just as easy to put a curtain around it. But, so a very big job.
So does it still have the bed of mercury now with the...
Yes, still got about 80% of the original mercury still in there. Right. We lost a bit during a Newcastle earthquake. We've had a couple of little leaks since. Newcastle, we put half a litre in. It was about $3,000, I think, for half a litre of mercury. But no, we lost a bit of mercury, but most of it's all still original mercury.
It's quite a different situation to here at Caloundra, where the actual location was lost, and so it seems that where lighthouses are well positioned, that they continue to function with modern equipment. So that this one's a little bit different because it's all defunct now, but it enables the public to have a good look around and get the story.
Yeah. There's on an average about every 40 kilometres along from Victoria to Queensland borders, about every 40 kilometres on an average is a lighthouse. So there's quite a lot of lighthouses along the coast. But that all goes back to James Barnet again, who wanted to have a highway of lights up and down the coast, especially when gold was discovered in New South Wales, and shipping coming from all over the world to our goldfields, lots of accidents, of course. So that was his idea, was to get as many lighthouses as he could possibly build. But the last 3 lighthouses that were built was Point Perpendicular, Jarvis Bay, just south of Sydney, Byron Bay, down the coast here, and Nora Head. They were built of concrete.
Oh, I was always said that Byron was pretty good for a blockwork building.
Yeah, true. But the whole idea was that the government wanted to do them as cheap as possible. So building out of concrete was the cheapest way to do it, because they could build concrete lighthouses right on the spot. So prefabricated concrete blocks. They didn't have to bring sandstone from quarries or anything. They used cheap labour. So the cottages and everything could all build on site. And they used the same plan for the 3 lighthouses. That saved money instead of getting 3 different plans. And with concrete too, you didn't have to paint it, same as sandstone.
Oh, so they weren't white originally, though?
No. What they did, it was just original big concrete blocks. And if you ever get to see Nora Head again, you'll see they look like small blocks on the lighthouse. Actually, they're huge blocks. So what they did before they painted white, they cement rendered the whole lighthouse, and then they put artificial lines in. So you've got blocks about 2 metres wide by about this. But in that you've got about several different lines, so they're only artificial. They're not they look like small blocks, but they're not. They're just made it look pretty. Then it was painted white, of course. Yeah.
So what are the other images you've got there?
These are just plans. The lens itself, then some of the structure.
Oh yes, it's quite a tall lighthouse.
Yeah, we're from the top. It's 27 metres. We are. We're about 1.5 metres taller than Byron Bay, because there's a lake system just down from Nora Head, and they built an extra 1.5 metres taller, so the boats that used to come in the lake system could see the lighthouse. The bush was too high in the early days. And I just put a couple of little things up here. This is just a modern shot of or not so much a modern shot, but just an aerial shot of Nora Head there itself, and the big point. And it was really dangerous to shipping to this particular point, because There's a lot of cracks in the rocks, all done volcanically, of course, millions of years ago, and a lot of ironstone oxides and magnesium and all that. So the whole point's got a very magnetic effect. So shipping coming close to the lighthouse, of course, their compasses could swing about 10 degrees, so it used to cause a lot of... and just off the lighthouse, about a kilometre away, there's a big reef there, so... and I'm not sure how many... we've got a port and starboard light. Our red light shines straight across the reef to keep the boats away from the reef, so it's a port light.
That's right, because Byron's got a red light for the Julian Rocks, hasn't it?
Okay, I'm not sure. I haven't really been up and had a good look at Byron Bay, so I can't tell you about that one, right?
So what else have we got here?
Yeah, this is just an early shot of the lighthouse back in the early days, where you can see where we've got all the chimneys up here, of course, all the scrubs all nice and low. I'm not sure what date that is, of course, but it must have been a fair while ago because all the chimneys are still on the lighthouse. They've had new roofs put on, and there's only one chimney now amongst that. When they put the new roofs on, they took the chimney stacks down, which is a bit unfortunate. And I just brought this up here because this is rather interesting. We always pretend he's John Cleese, this guy. He's Laycock, 1920-1926, a lighthouse keeper. And it's interesting with this too because he had twins when they were up here, at the lighthouse, and a boy and a girl, and they called them Nora and Headly. So they knew exactly where they were born. So yeah, something different. But yeah, we've got lots of other things. Hopefully, if we come up again later on, I'll bring you some of the other photos and stuff and anything else you sort of need.
See that pose the wallaby there.
Yeah, they've just shot the wallaby, a big shotgun there. Another pictures we got too is guys with the big spy glasses. You know, the big spy glasses about this long, about this round.
To bring it up.
Yeah, because they obviously they had to see the ships when they come up. They had to come
Well,
in.
did they keep a log of the ships as they were going past?
Yeah, they kept a
same
log.
as
Yeah.
here.
Every time a ship went past the lighthouse, they kept a log. They had to pay a fee, of course. It was like a toll road. So yeah, they had to come close enough to see any signal lanterns that they
Yeah,
on
sure.
the signal lights, or it's not signal flags that the lighthouse keeper put up.
Yes.
And close enough, of course, so he could get the spyglass out, read the name of the boat, and then that would be sent to the government at the end of the month. And the shipping company and sailing shipping company would pay a fee.
Appropriate. And I am right in saying that Nora Heads is the main lighthouse for Newcastle Port. Is that correct?
You've got one at there's one at Nobby's. There's Nobby's Beach.
Yeah,
Nobby's
that's just a
like-
small one, isn't it?
That's a small one, there where the ships come into the
Yes.
harbour there. Yeah. A lot of people don't realise too that Nora Head was called the mother station in the early days. Like, because Nora Head was the last one finished, it became the mother station. So that means that anything that happened up the north coast, Byron Bay or anything up here, right down the Victorian border, that information would come to Nora Head, and then that would go from Nora Head to Sydney and it'd be printed all out in the Sydney Morning Herald.
Right.
So yeah, so it was actually it was an important station, and of course we had the big ship-to-shore radio and lighthouse radios, and all the lighthouses were in touch with each other. So any information would be radioed